From day one, the guy has always had something. He's got an aura about him. He's got this steely determination.
I'm sure he's an inspiration to his generation of gamers. I'd like to think he's an inspiration to a lot of young people.
How do we measure the space between imagination and experience? What's the distance between a goal and a dream? Where's the line between what's virtual and what's real? Maybe the only way to know is to cross that line and never go back.
You can't just press start and reset and you're away, and it's true, you know? You can't just do that in real life.
At age 25, Jan Mardenborugh is in his 6th season as a driver as part of the Nissan Nismo race team. This day, he's competing as part of the Japanese Super Formula Championship. His single-seater is designed to exceed 200 miles per hour or faster in his quest to win.
It's my debut in this championship. This one is particularly special because we have drivers in this championship which have done Formula One and they want to drive these cars.
But to understand how improbable, how unreal Mardenborough's journey to the starting line is, you have to go back to the other side of the world, where it all started. Growing up in Wales, Jan first found speed as a grade schooler on a trip to a local track.
It was for my 11th birthday. There was a place where I lived and they had this indoor track and, you know, these 4-stroke karts, and they had probably 5 horsepower and smoked everywhere. But I loved it.
And then next thing, he's beating these boys, and one of the instructors came up to me and said, well, how long has he been doing this? And I said, it was just a day out for him. He said, he's a natural.
Other than racing on family holidays, Jan found another way to the track.
We had neighbours with a game. Of course, he was enthralled by this gaming machine they'd never seen before, you know. I think in the end they gave him the console and the game.
What made it different was the amount of cars, the amount of circuits, the music. But I was, just hooked.
After dropping out of a motorsport engineering course at a local college, Jan used a custom-made game console in his bedroom to enter a competition for video gamers with a prize too far-fetched to believe.
I just booted up my PlayStation one morning and there was a new menu, GT Academy Tryouts.
What's all this about? You know, they're talking about making a real-life racing driver from somebody that's playing a game.
That was the point and the prize of GT Academy, a competition to go from gamer to racer, virtual to actual. Playing in your bedroom to driving a professional sponsored race car.
You're the fastest guy on your PlayStation on Gran Turismo. You qualify, you go through to a national event, go up against all the different nations. Very, very simple. No big rules, no big bureaucracy. Be the fastest guy, progress. Very simple.
Outside of the program, there was a great, almost a sort of a laughable. People thought it was kind of laughable, really.
There was a huge amount of skepticism. Everybody was skeptical. They said just because a guy is good at Tiger Woods golf does not mean he's going to go and win the Masters.
In the winter of 2011, Jan poured himself into the competition with a clear goal. Out of 90,000 entrants, to be one of the 20 fastest qualifiers.
7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, minimum on it. And then I did this lap, which was good enough for 9th in the UK.
From virtual gamer to real-life racing driver, this is GT Academy.
The competition was documented in a reality show for British television. By finishing among the top qualifiers, Jan earned a chance to test himself against other gamers in a real race car.
Moving yourself from the safe environment of a PlayStation to the real life car. But he said, Mum, there's not much difference. Of course, you can't rewind and replay, but there doesn't seem to be much difference.
Technically, I was very good at knowing car settings. I knew what certain roll bar changes, spring settings, I knew if to go softer, harder, what it would do to the car, and I was clued up on car setup anyway from games.
Jan advanced to the competition finals at Silverstone Racetrack, an historic venue, home of the British Grand Prix.
Nerves, that heart was out of its mind, just like 200 beats per minute.
On the last day, he faced off against 3 other finalists in a race on the Silverstone circuit to win the GT Academy. With a sudden move to pass in the final stretch, Jan crossed the finish line and won.
Jan's face was just an absolute picture of joy.
First thing was like, I want to ring my mum, and I'm on the podium talking to him, saying, like, Mum, I won GT Academy.
Hello, yeah, I kind of won GT Academy.
Camera guy's there, and he's like, screaming. It was Ace, best moment ever. Properly cool.
From his first international race in Dubai, where he reached the podium, Jan's career accelerated from there. In 3 years, he went from racing GT cars in Britain to a top 3 finish at Le Mans, to winning his first race in GP3, a feeder series to the pinnacle of the sport, Formula One, in 2014.
The doors were being opened for him, but he was up to every level that he was asked to perform in. He was going great guns.
The press releases said he's a gamer. He was not a gamer, he was just a young, professional, fast racing driver.
The virtual was now real, but so was the risk.
Someone's young son, you know. He won a game, didn't he? He won a competition. But do they know what they're winning? Do they know they're suddenly going to be in danger?
There's no kind of like thought process, oh, what if I crash? What would happen? It was none of that. It was, if I crash, end.
And then came spring 2015, and a track Jan had played on video countless times. A track where 70 drivers have died in competition. The Nürburgring in Germany.
It's the best track in the world. It's my favourite track. The car went very light at the front, and next thing you know, you're just looking at the sky. I just closed my eyes and then took my hands off the steering wheel and tried to brace myself.
Me personally, I thought we lost him. I did.
Jan was taken to a nearby hospital with minor injuries. There was when he found out a spectator was hit and killed.
What guilt, if any, did you feel?
You're behind the wheel, and it's massive guilt, huge guilt. It's something which I wouldn't want anyone else to experience.
It did change him a lot. What can you say to your child that somebody has lost their life through, I wouldn't say through you, but through what you're doing?
It stays with you. Someone has lost their life. It's never going to go away. So I wanted to know that I could function in my job with that weight.
Less than a week after the crash, he knew what he needed to do. Get back behind the wheel at his local track, Pembury.
When I got in the car and turned the engine on, visor down, it was like riding a bike, and it's like, this is home.
What thought, if any, did you give to stopping?
None. Because this is what I'm born to do.
This year, Jan is spending most of the season in Japan, racing at the country's highest level. 155,000 fans have come to Suzuka to watch him and others at the start of the Super Formula season.
Oh, it's real now. You do your green flag lap, and then you come back to the start-finish line to start the race, and the lights go on. That's game time.
Except it's not a game. 6 years after winning a video contest online, Jan's life races beyond the border of any screen. It's not about a prize, it's about a profession.
Making a living out of racing a car from playing a game which you're playing. Go for it. But it's possible. You can do it. It's possible.
For Jan Mardenborugh, there are many ways to describe the journey here, but the best may just be the simplest. Real.